That's crazy. That's
First
crazy.
of many, bro.
That's crazy. All right, guys. Welcome to the first of many. Welcome to this podcast. The name is yet to be determined. So you guys are going to be part of this process. So please, if you would like to, let me know. Suggest maybe after watching the episode, suggest names in the comment section. I hope after a couple of episodes to be able to actually come up with a name for the podcast. I have some ideas, but I'm not yet necessarily sold on them. So hopefully by the end of a couple of episodes, like 5, I can have a name for the podcast. But for now, the podcast is going to remain nameless. But it is a podcast, which hopefully is going to be a good one. So we're starting.
Yes, sir.
This is the first guest. I'm excited about this. It's going to be great. It's been a long time coming. A lot of procrastination has gotten us to this point, but we're here. And we're only gonna, forward ever, backward never. So this is the first podcast episode with the first guest, Akin.
My guy.
A brother was coming here to actually just help me with the filming, not knowing that he's gonna be the first guest. So,
Dude, he sabotaged me, bro. You sabotaged me big time. I thought I was gonna be behind the camera, but now I'm in front of the camera. Actually.
welcome.
Thank you, my guy.
So we're gonna just have a great conversation. Of course, you don't know what the topic is because I didn't tell you what the topic was because you didn't know you were gonna be part of the podcast.
If this is some, I don't know. You know what? I'm excited. I'm looking forward to it. Let's go.
But the good thing is we have a lot of conversations, so this is just going to be one of those conversations we have, right?
Okay.
At least that's the goal. So I guess I just want you guys to start. So I guess I just want you to start with introducing yourself.
Okay.
So who are you? How do you find yourself in Europe? And maybe a little bit of your academic background.
Okay. So who am I? I'm him. That's one thing. No, okay. Now my name is Akin. Akintunde Akinyoade. Akin for short, because it's easier. I'm from Nigeria. I'm 24 years old, and I moved to Europe in 2018 for my studies. So I studied. I did my high school all in Nigeria, and I moved here for my studies at the University of Twente. I did my bachelor's and master's in chemical engineering. I'm doing a second master's now again in business management, and hopefully I would start working soon. But besides that, I love camera. He loves cameras as well, and I love videos. I love editing. I love storytelling, most importantly. And that's how we click. Like that's the thing that is most common between both of us. So I initially came here today to helping, not knowing I'll be in front of the camera, which is insane. And it's honestly, it's an honor to be your first guest. Like I'm really happy that we're friends. I'm grateful that you're in my life. Like I met you a few years ago, but this year we got really, really close. So it's insane how I'm even your first guest.
Right,
So it's just, thank you so
But
much.
I
for
mean,
that.
it's just fitting, right? For context too, he is my accountability buddy for content. So like we kind of keep each other in check when it comes to making sure that we're setting goals when it comes to content creation and meeting those goals as well. So that's also the framework in which we have a lot of our conversations. But of course, we talk about a lot more stuff outside of that. Okay, so you grew up in Nigeria, right?
Yes, sir.
But you also lived part of your life in Sierra Leone,
Sierra Leone, yeah.
right? So how long did you live in Sierra Leone?
Dude, I stayed in Sierra Leone for 7 whole years, bro.
You did school there too.
I did school there. Like I was in grade 2 or year 2, class 2 in Vincent, Nigeria, and I transferred to Sierra Leone. So I did class 3 till like the what is it, the 4th year of high school. So that's like grade 9, grade 10. And then I moved to Nigeria. I did the final 2 years of high school there,
Right,
and then I came here
right.
for masters,
Right.
for bachelor and masters.
Yeah, so your education has been before Europe, hybrid, Nigeria, Sierra Leone.
Sierra Leone, yeah, exactly.
No, have you been to Europe before?
I had never been to Europe before,
Okay.
actually. I had never been to Europe before. I came to Europe for the first time in 2016, just after I finished high school.
Right.
Came here for the first time, because my dad lives here, he works here as a professor at Leiden. So I came here for the first time. I saw the country was really cold, bro. Like first time I got here, Jesus, I was wearing like double pants, like insane. And now I'm just wearing a shirt outside. So you see how much you've adjusted, right? But yeah, I came here 2016 the first time. It was really cold, man. So, but since then I've adjusted to
Oh,
it.
it's funny because I also came here 2016.
Yeah?
Interesting.
Is
yeah. 1 month?
I came here in December
2016.
2016.
Okay, I've been here for a couple of months. I came
Ah,
in March.
yeah.
I came in March. But okay, that's a brief background, right? Would you consider yourself a book smart person? Like, did school always come easy to you, or have you always had to work extra hard for school?
It really depends, to be honest. I would say that I'm somewhere in the middle. I would say I'm book smart to an extent, but I'm also very how should I say it? I don't want to fail. Like I have this, it's not like an anxiety to not fail. I just have this like I don't want to fail by any means necessary. So I put in more work than I should, you know.
Right.
So I would say that I'm smart. I mean, if you make it to a master's level, it means you're probably smart, right?
Yeah, but were you
So-
always like top of your class in high
I
school?
was always in top 5.
Okay.
Top 5. So in Nigeria, like we had this thing where I think they stopped it now, but they used to put like positions.
Mm.
So if you were like 40 in the class and you came last, you see 40th on your report card. You guys have the same? Yo, that was brutal.
No. With
That was so brutal, bro.
With us,
Uh-huh.
they will call the first 10 on stage, and they will call the last 10 on stage.
That is bad. Okay, you guys were crazy.
Like thinking about it now, yeah, I'm like, that part was not necessary. Like the first 10, okay, maybe give them the recognition, give them the accolades, but the last 10, I'm like, that was really not necessary to call them up. And sometimes they would actually like receive a punishment for being last 10. Yeah. So that it was such an unhealthy thing thinking about it now, where it's like, why did you have to like, that's crazy. Because I think it still happens. But anyways, we're not getting to that. But anyways, you're always top 5.
Yeah, I was always in top 5 in high school, yeah.
Okay. Why did you choose to study what you study now?
dude.
Or like the bachelor's then,
The
yeah? So
bachelor's,
engineering. Yeah.
Bachelor's.
Look, I ain't gonna lie to you. I think every Nigerian person or every African person can relate to this. If you can study what you love, what you're passionate about, great. But I'm sure you're in the 1%. But I feel like for me and every other person, you either study what will make you the most money, or
Why did you point to me when you said every other person?
okay, me and hey, we know ourselves. We know ourselves. And you know yourselves. But it's true. Like, but the thing is, I think the way the environment is in Africa, you have to study something that would probably make you the most money or guarantee your future to be set, right? Because things like studying art, like theater, or studying, I don't want to like throw shade, or like studying psychology, for instance, communications in Africa would. The chances of you making a living from that is really low. So it's either you do one of the big 3, a lawyer, doctor, an accountant, or maybe an engineer or something. So in high school, I was really passionate about cameras still, about videography, photo editing, whatever.
Were you already?
I was at that point.
From
in
what
time.
point did that start?
Since I made my first YouTube channel when I was 13,
Okay.
14.
All right.
And I used to do like football tricks and everything. I think I have some videos on my channel. You can go watch it if you want. So I always loved cameras, and I always wanted to be a YouTuber or be on camera, just something in media, right? But I knew at that time, okay, look, this would not pay the bills. You know, it wouldn't pay for anything right now in my life. And I'm 15, I'm about to graduate from high school. I need to do something that at least I know in the future will be a good backup.
But wait, because I assume you also consume content from people online. Like
Yeah.
you also watch YouTubers and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Was there no part of you that actually thought that those people actually made money from YouTube? Or was it just like you knew they made money from YouTube, but just your reality was counteracting that that's not a possibility for you?
Exactly. I knew they made money from YouTube at that point in time. And the thing is, I was in boarding school, so I couldn't make videos at all.
Right.
So even if I was making videos, I'd be like, you know what? I'm already starting to make videos. Like, I can see somewhere in the future I can start making money from it. But the thing is, I knew for a fact, okay, look, right now you're in boarding school. You have no phones, no cameras, nothing. You need to make a decision right now for you to go like to school.
Right.
So I was like, you know what? I'm gonna do medicine. So then I signed up for medicine. We went to the hospital for like open days. I saw blood. Nope, medicine is not for me.
Oh, you actually went to the open day?
Yeah. Hey, we went to the hospital. I was like, man, no. And then we came back. I called my dad. I was like, yo, and I've always wanted to be a doctor since I was a kid, but I don't think I can do it. Like I saw blood and I got scared. I was like, okay, cool. Like look for some other options. What you might like. Which subjects do you like? I told him I like math. I like chemistry. And he told me that, okay, you know what? Since you like those two, trying to look for something that you can combine, maybe something in engineering.
Right.
And then I think one of my friends told me that, look, like if you do chemical engineering, like you're gonna make a lot of money from oil, blah, blah, blah. It's gonna be sick. I was like, you know what? That doesn't sound too bad. You know, because I knew my family members who actually worked in the oil and gas sector, like they made a good living for themselves. But I didn't choose it for that reason. I chose it because I like chemistry and math. And also maybe a bit of the money as well. So that's why I ended up choosing chemical engineering, and then that's why.
Yeah, fair enough. I mean, in all honesty, if you think about like how our decision-making process goes with like choosing career paths and everything, it's like some part of it just doesn't. You know, it's like now you look at it retrospectively, just like, hey, like
Why?
that's literally how we chose. Like that's
Exactly. Just
that's it.
criteria.
I mean, you don't really have much to work on, right? Because like I am exposed to a lot of kids who grew up here, and it's not to necessarily compare it, but just like see why things are the way they are.
Yeah.
People who grow up here, like from the ages of 10, you're trying things,
Exactly.
you're making the videos, or you're going to open days, or you're going to shadow people.
Mm-hmm.
By the time you're making that decision, it's still not like a well thought through thing because you don't know what you're going to be thinking or feeling in a few years.
Yeah.
But still, it's you can base it on a lot more stuff than
100%.
the way we make decisions, right?
100%.
Where it's just like you leave boarding school, bro, you've barely been exposed to the real world.
Anything.
And now you have to like pick something that you are supposed to do for the rest of your life.
right?
Because that's the thing to where it's like people here like I can do it for a bit and then switch to this and then switch to this because
Exactly.
they're exposed to that. But like for us, it's like once you pick it, that's it.
That's it.
And people are making the decision at the age of 15, 13, and that's what they're gonna be doing for the rest. Like who puts that amount of pressure on themselves? You know what I mean?
It is insane. Like I can just remember I was in the car because my aunt had to come pick me up from school to go to register at the exam center. I was like, man, am I really sure about chemical engineering? Like, are you sure? Like, are you sure that maybe the blood was just like a blip? Maybe she just actually do medicine. You know, so I was like, you know, dude, I can remember that day vividly because I was in the car. I was sweating at the back. Like, man, like this thing I'm gonna do now. If I choose this, like that's it, bro. I mean, of course, now looking back, I can change, right? But back then I didn't know. So you can just imagine all the other kids as well who like maybe the parents were pressuring them to like go do accounting or lawyer or something, or who just thought like, you know what, I'm passionate about psychology, but I know that wouldn't pay the bills. I should go do something else like law, for instance, you know. So I can relate to their struggle because like they were probably in that same stress as well, just like I was as well. So it's insane how much pressure kids our age back then and kids now even though it's getting better.
Yeah.
I'm
It's
still
getting better, but I
facing-
don't think much has changed. Depending on your exposure and your environment, I think that could be a different way of processing it. But so you had the likeness. Hey, you had the interest in videography and stuff like that already, right? And then you had to make the choice to go study this, just to guarantee your future and stability, right?
Yeah.
Did that stay the same? So like, are you still on the same wavelength? Do you still think the same way about both things now?
To be honest, it's a bit, I mean, I don't really, because now that I'm in Europe, I see that, you know, it's really possible for you to do whatever you like. Like I asked my friends in class, like I was like, why do you choose what you're choosing to study? And the plain answer was, I just found it interesting. I just liked it.
Right.
And then I was like, so no part of you chose it for money? And I'm like, no, I was just interested in architecture. That's why I chose to study architecture. And to me that was insane because like I've never ever imagined anyone choosing a study that money isn't the main reason, you know?
Right.
Because where we're from, like that's probably like the primary reason for doing it. But I mean now I've graduated with a master's degree and I'm doing another master's now. And to me, I do feel like if I really want to go into videography, like the chances of me succeeding are a lot higher now than if I was Nigerian, for instance. If I was Nigeria, I think I wouldn't have given up, but I wouldn't be putting as much effort as I'm putting in now because I know the chances of succeeding are really low. But here it's possible for me to like, okay, you know what? You can keep on working and at some point, like if you just be consistent with the environment you have, there are lots of things you can do to film, to record, lots of connections that you have around here. You can make use of your environment. I do think it's still possible for me to realize this dream of being a videographer or something, you know, in the future. And honestly, even if it doesn't, like I feel like I'm at a point where like I just love making videos so much that it wouldn't really hurt me in a negative way that, you know what, I couldn't do this full time.
Right.
Because from all I've always wanted to do was just to have like a platform where I can share like my ideas, share my thoughts, have my friends on there share their thoughts, help people. And I feel like right now I have probably all of that, like especially on my Instagram, for instance. I've always wanted to like share like health tips to people, and right now I'm doing that on my YouTube as well. I've always wanted to like also like make like some like funny videos or relatable videos. I'm doing that as well, and I just wanted to have a community where I can just like share my thoughts. And right now, if I could put it on paper, all my prayers have been answered.
Right.
But of course, if I could do this full time, that would be a blessing, and that's where I want to reach.
How long after you moved abroad, or how far into your time after you moved abroad, did you start noticing, okay, this is something I could actually do? Like, this is a viable option too.
I was seeing people who were videographers who weren't even passionate about this thing, making like regular salary, just like any other person who makes like a regular salary as well.
Right.
So I'm like, okay, you didn't have to go to university. You just learned it through some friend or some YouTube tutorial, and here you are making similar money to what an engineer or what another person is making. Obviously, it's relative, right? Like difference is like 400 or 500 euros higher for an engineer, for instance, but still like if it's in the same ballpark. And obviously, like seeing there's some people that I know who also make money off of social media. I was like, okay, you know what? It is actually kind of possible for you to live off of this. So like that's when I really started like putting in more effort into it. I think since I started putting in more effort a lot this year, but I already started like back I think a year or two ago, like 2022 ending. I already started. Okay, I need to start ramping things up since then.
Right.
But just seeing that it was possible that even people who aren't really passionate about it were making money from it. And just imagine if we are passionate about it, it's definitely possible as well.
Right.
So just seeing everyone in the environment just making the most out of it gave me a lot of like confidence. You know, I can do this as well because they're doing the same thing.
Right. Do you still feel like you're 1 foot in, 1 foot out?
100%, 100%, 100%. And that's the thing about safety nets, right? Like they're there to always catch you. Obviously, my safety net is okay. You have a chemical engineering degree. If this doesn't work out, you can always go work at Shell or go work at ExxonMobil or something and make a good living, right? So that's the disadvantage of having a safety net, because it doesn't make you commit full time. Because dude, if I had no safety nets, let's just say, for instance, right, like I don't want to say something negative or something like I don't want to make you make any assumption, but let's just say that hypothetically, let's just say, for instance, right, I had 8 months left on my visa, for instance, right? And I was gonna go back to Nigeria, and let's just say hypothetically, I didn't want to go back, and I had no other options. Then of course I'll put in all my effort into this YouTube channel or into contacting people or seeing who I can connect with and see who I can make content with. So I could have easily like found a way there, but now I was like, you know what? If it doesn't work out, man, I'll just get a job. Like, you know, it's fine. And I feel like that's the disadvantage of having a safety net. And I'm still trying to, you know, not rely on my safety net as much as I can. I'm still trying to figure out how to not do that.
Right.
But once it's there, it's so hard, especially given that it's a good safety net as well. Like you're a doctor, you understand as well. Like I have friends who are engineers, who are lawyers. Like it's such a good thing to be rest assured that, you know what, I have this degree that I can get a good job, get a good paying job.
Right. But I mean, of course, we know that like subconscious backup plan also kind of slows down your aggressiveness with pursuing the things that you.
Yeah, but we're trying. Like we're untangling it, and hopefully I can get to a stage where, you know what, I can do this without even thinking that I have a safety net at the back of my mind.
Right.
So that's what we're trying to get to.
Yeah, exactly. The fun part is to kind of figure out how you can trick your brain into believing that, because you got to trick your
You
brain.
gotta trick your brain somehow. Exactly.
So
Maybe just tear my degree or something. I won't do that.
I mean, you still have the qualifications.
That's another title, but yeah.
Fair enough. Okay. One thing I wanted to touch on as well was, would you consider yourself the word sounds negative, but like just it's the best word I could have found.
Yeah.
An overthinker. Like, are you someone who analyzes stuff a lot, thinks about just stuff that happens or stuff that is taking place around them a lot?
Too much. Sometimes I love it, and sometimes I like absolutely hate it. Sometimes I feel like it's the bane of my existence, because it's a blessing in a way that I can plan things like meticulously. Like when it comes to like things I want to do, like I have like steps and everything that I can follow, right? Like for example, like doing the marathon or going to the gym. Like I know like how I can overthink to a point that it will be positive, but then like the negative part comes in where sometimes you think way too far out of the boundary of the scope of what you want to do, and it really affects you like negatively. For instance, like let's say now, for instance, like my videos on Instagram, for instance, right? Like for longest time, I didn't want to put any videos out there that weren't like great. You know, I wanted to make it 100%. I would spend like months filming, making sure the angles were great. There were days where I would look at the weather. Okay, the sun is gonna set at this time. I need the lighting to be like this so it can catch me at this certain angle. So there are times I would meticulously think about these things, right? And it would stop me from putting out content that I wanted to put out there. Because let's just say like a funny video, let's say of you like doing something at the beach, for instance, and it was funny. I wouldn't put that up because I'd be like, you know what, it's not really edited, it's not really color graded, there is no anything special about it, you know, so I wouldn't put it up. But now I've gotten to a point that, man, anything that I think I like or that I feel like would share like would benefit people, I just put it up. I don't even care. Of course, I still edit to make sure that I'm still doing the thing I love. But now if I have anything relatable, and it's so crazy how like my most viral videos are the ones where I didn't even edit. It's just straight from the camera.
Right.
Go on Instagram, put a caption on it, boom.
That's crazy. And I mean, you still do care about the quality, right? And I had the thing you're talking about. I had the same thing today where there was something in my draft, bro. I kid you not.
You don't want to post it
The one I'm
today?
gonna post it today was my draft. I was this close to deleting it yesterday. I was like, bro, I've graduated like months ago. Everyone knows I graduated months ago. Why am I posting this video? You know what I mean? Like literally, I was this close. I got home last night from Rotterdam, and I was just like, I looked at the draft. I was like, to delete or not to delete? Just post it.
Just post.
Because this year, anything that scares me, I'm just trying to do it, right? If it scares me, just do it.
Yeah.
The thought of posting that video and people like, but you've graduated, like, what is this video about? I was like, I don't want to. But then it scared me. I was like, let's post it. I posted it, went to Padel, came back like 20K in less than 2 hours. And I'm just like,
And the thing is, on your story, you put like clearing my draft. Like
literally, I put it there clearing my
like
draft.
at this point, he didn't even care about the video. Like,
It's like, let's just get it off the draft. Bruh, it was so crazy. And that's been the track record of my videos, where the videos that I've put the least amount of effort or what I think about a lot and just like, but the videos don't make sense. Does it make sense? I'm just like, you know what, because it scares me, just put it out there.
Just put it out there.
Those have performed the best.
Exactly.
Those have consistently performed the best.
Exactly.
And it's just like, there's something humbling about it, where you just have to allow yourself go through the motions of it and just really trust the process.
Just trust the process.
Especially when you're doing something like this, which you don't understand the
Exactly.
full length of it. I feel like that's really important.
yeah, I think what people appreciate about those kind of contents was like it's very authentic. You know, like they can tell like it wasn't edited. They can tell that it wasn't like it's just some like the one you post about the video today was very like I think you posted about something about being a doctor or something like that.
Right, like what to do after being a doctor.
Is that what you have to be a doctor? There are tons of doctors who will see that and be like, you know what, like this actually makes sense. You know, like because it's just relatable.
The people who are voting, I don't know these people who are voting. Like literally, they vote. I don't know these people who are voting.
And there are people who aren't even doctors, but are just curious. Like, okay, damn, but he's a doctor. He doesn't want to be a doctor. He wants,
Right.
it just sparks the curiosity. So those kind of things actually do well a lot.
Fair enough. Yeah. So you're doing a second degree now, second master's degree.
Yeah. Yeah. About that. About that. Yeah.
Why did you choose to do the second degree?
So, there are a few reasons. I think the one biggest thing for sure is I think I'm trying to buy time because after I did my chemical engineering degree, I did an internship, and to be honest, I didn't really like the internship so much. I didn't like the experience. I saw people there who were making like good money, but every day I would go there, I felt like they weren't really happy or they weren't really fulfilled.
Right.
And the thing that I was doing, I was like, man, if I had to do this for 30, 40 years, I'll be miserable. So I went through like a whole 2-3 month period. I was like, man, so I'll spend 5 years studying this degree and I don't really feel like I want to do this. So I didn't know what to do. So I spoke to my dad. It was like, you know what, just go work. Just go work. You'll find somewhere in the field that you like. That you like to an extent, and then you can do that. But like, you know what, I don't want to take that risk, especially now that I'm still 24. I don't want to go work 2 years and then come back to university. So I signed up for like a business degree, a master's in business administration. And I told myself, like, you know, for this year, you're gonna go into your passion, what you really want to do, so which is YouTube. And also, you also like business as well. You like consultancy, you like marketing. So it's an opportunity for you to study those two things whilst also chasing your dream of being a YouTuber as well. So the biggest thing I'm trying to do is buy time whilst also learning about things I really like marketing, like I didn't even like psychology, bro. Like we had a psychology course recently at school, and it was really interesting to me. And marketing, I love it so much because marketing is essentially what we do as YouTubers.
Yeah, marketing is exactly.
And I love it so much. So it's just like I'm having a great time learning all these new things, and I'm also buying time as well. But even at the end of this year, if it doesn't work out, it's great because I feel like now I have so much options. I can work as a consultant, I can work as an engineer, the door is wide open for me. So the biggest thing I was trying to do was buy time and buy more options, I guess.
Interesting. Because how does because I asked the question of like overthinking and having that kind of brain that just like fires at a rapid speed.
Yeah.
Do you think you've always had that, by the way? Like,
oh yeah, 100%.
How did that look like in Nigeria? Was it something that was welcome? Was it something that was understood? Or did you always have to like Like, okay, that
Let's just say my grandmother was just not really happy with that, because every time I had a thought, I would just go to her and just like ask. And be like, man, you think too much. Like she always says that. Like there was a point where she even like hit my head with like a wooden spoon. Like just keep quiet. You talk too much, you know. So like I've always had this like tendency to, but what if? You know, even if something was set in stone. Like now the tripod is right in front of us, but what if it falls? It wouldn't fall, obviously, but the what ifs are always in my mind.
Right.
So like I've always had this, even whenever I go to like a roller park or a theme park, right? But what if the thing breaks? What if I go up and then the thing just like stops working? What if it happens with me? Like I'm always the what if person, in the negative way, but also in the positive way. Like what if YouTube works out?
Right.
Like what if I could actually do this full time? What if I could actually graduate with a good grade? What if I could actually, you know, do a marathon, for instance? Like, so it has helped me a lot, but it has also like deterred me.
When you think of being an overthinker, right?
Yeah.
Like, guys, we're not saying that's the thing, but like that's the best word we can find to describe it now.
Yeah.
When you think of being an overthinker, it's the first instinct to you like, oh, this is a positive thing, or like, is the dominant instinct like, oh, this is a negative thing? What is the net for you?
The net, probably negative. I would say probably negative. I gotta be honest. Hey, it's not all roses out here. I gotta be honest. It's mostly negative,
Why?
because I feel like the what ifs. Every time you think about a what if, it's always something dangerous, or something in danger, something that is negative. I would say, because I don't think you could ask yourself. Let's say I don't know if you do this. Let's say you're about to go to Albert. You wouldn't think, what if I win $1 million? You would think, what if I get hit by a truck? The tendency for you to think about what if I get hit by a truck is much higher than what if I win $1 million in Albert. Let's be honest.
But I mean,
it's an example, right?
I'm an optimist, so like,
Okay.
I like the negative tendencies in me are just way less. Like I understand that with a lot of people it's more prevalent.
It's more prevalent.
For me, because of my overly optimistic tendencies, I normally highlight the positives. Like, what if I meet a cool person in Albertine? Like, what if? Like, I don't even ask for what ifs, but like, if there are what ifs,
if there are what ifs,
the positives
it's probably
easily
positives.
dominate. But I'm trying to figure out how that came to be, right? Because I do know that like having this kind of mind where your brain processes too many things at a certain,
At the faster rate.
like a very fast rate and like in a very short amount of time, and you actually get stuff done. Because I've seen you work, I've seen you do your things. You get stuff done, right? Like having that kind of mindset in a setting such as in Cameroon, which I grew up in, it's always like you just think different. Your way of thinking is like this European way of thinking. It's like you also talk a different way. All these things which can easily get someone to kind of look at that part of themselves in a negative light.
Yeah.
Those things I know are things which I was a victim to.
Oh,
where I
I see
had to
what you
like
mean.
train myself to rewire that, to like see, okay, the fact that I can process, I don't think I even process that fast, but I do think that my processing speed mentally is somewhere above average, right?
Let's give ourselves credit here, dude. Your processing speed is very fast. Come on.
Right. So I do think it's above average, and I've always like had that mindset of like, oh, but this is a negative thing because you over check sense, over sabi. Who do you think you are to, like, you know, you want to, or you be Dangote, you're this one. But like those things have always been things which I tried to like subconsciously suppress because I was not trying to let my head like poke out of the crowd. But I'm trying to rewire that now where those are superpowers. Like my ability to think and process stuff. Okay, there are negative sides of it, of course, because nowadays, like you look at everything in the world, you're just like trying to process everything and trying to make sense of everything, which you cannot. But then your brain has a tendency to want to process and like think about everything.
Think about things, yeah.
And then you can end up in a negative spiral or like loop. Where there's that danger. But then there's like a lot of benefits. Just thinking about stuff, helping people figure out stuff, helping people navigate stuff, like coaching and being able to like see different perspectives and talk to different people and process their own things that are happening and put things in perspective. There's a lot of positives, right?
There's a lot
but
of
if you never program it to like actually
in that direction,
internalize it, then you're always gonna like see that as a negative part of yourself.
But were you always like this though? Like always like optimistic, like thinking in that optimistic direction, or do you have to? Like, how do you train it? Like, I
think I've always been optimistic. But it's like the external influence try to like choke out the optimism.
Okay.
Like in boarding school, I was that kid who was just like always smiling, like just always like. And I really remember sometimes people would like literally call me, and I'd be like, "Hey," they'll call me like, "Come," and I'll literally just walk to them smiling, and look at me like, "Stop smiling. What's so nice about today?" You know what I mean? And those things as a kid growing up, you kind of like look at those and you're like, okay, maybe I should stop smiling. I do remember there was a time where I tried like actively
to stop
try to smile
less.
damn. Like, actively try to be less nice. So I do think those were some things which they were there, and at some point, like society tried, like it's like bullying, but it's not really bullying. But it's similar to
It
that.
suppresses
where
you a little
you
bit.
change yourself to fit society.
Yeah.
And then at some point, I feel like that was not serving me. Like I felt wrong with that, and because I've always been in tune with myself to some
Being
degree,
positive and optimistic. Yeah.
I was like, okay, this is not where I want to be. So I could take myself or like work towards where I wanted to go to.
But would you say then the environment here made it easier for you to do that?
Yes.
Because what if you were in Cameroon still right now? Do you think you still be how you were now?
Not as aggressive, no.
Not as aggressive.
No, that's the reality of it. Not as aggressive. I think the exposure has definitely been a big game changer.
Yeah.
In Cameroon, I know that I thought differently, but I never expressed it for fear of if it's probably going to compromise people who are taking care of me.
Oh.
So if someone is investing time, effort, money in me,
In you.
I don't want to do something that would potentially compromise the investment. So then I was like, I'm going to toe the line. I'm going to give myself a curfew so I don't ever have to put myself in a dangerous spot where people who are taking care of me have to come rescue me. But the moment I got here,
All that was
just
gone.
I'm like an independent person. I can work my own money. Crazy. My own finances. Hey. Wow, crazy.
For the first time.
For the first time, have my own bank account. So all those things like just fell away where I was like, okay, you know what? Now I can actually take decisions
Express
and do
yourself,
things which
yeah.
don't necessarily directly affect others. So then I could think and allow myself to express all those things more.
That's really good. So I think the environment here really had a net positive impact on you then.
Right.
I mean,
Yeah,
I think it
I
did.
think so. Yeah.
I
But
agree.
the thing is, I'm always like wondering why that is not the case then for you, for example. Why would you say, like, what is stopping you from highlighting more of the positives of the way you think?
Honestly, I do think that. Honestly, I don't know. Like, I haven't had like a lot of like negative experiences in life, right? I just think maybe that's just how maybe I'm just wired just naturally. I'm good at looking for risks. Let's just put it that way. I'm good at looking for all the potential risks and trying to eliminate all those risks so I can find a good way to succeed. For instance, like with studying at school, like I was able to identify a lot of risks that would stop me from not passing an exam, and just not do those things. I mean, those things are very easy, right? Go to sleep early, for instance. Right. You know, go to the gym, take care of yourself, like your health. Go to all the tutorials, for instance. So I was good at identifying things that would make me to succeed. And all these negative things I do think about.
Wait. Identify things that will make you succeed, or identifying risks that could potentially compromise
risks
your
that could
success?
potentially compromise my success. Put it that way.
Because there's two ways of looking at it, right? Like you can look at opportunities to increase the chances of success, or you can focus on the potential risks.
Even though it's the same thing, right?
The same thing.
Yeah.
What are you
It's
feeling?
like, I'm always looking at, okay, let's say for instance, going to the gym. You can look at it like I'm gonna gain muscle and be healthy, or you can look at it as that, man, if I don't go, I'm gonna be, you know, not healthy, for instance, right?
Right.
So I'm always focusing on the negative part because, you know, I learned about this thing. Oh, shit. I learned about this theory in psychology. It's called loss aversion, right?
Right.
It's a thing where humans have the tendency to rank losses higher than gains, for instance. Even though like it might be the same thing, we just naturally just recognize loss than gains. Maybe you are you're just different. You don't. Yeah. But let's say, for instance, you could either, if I told you I was going to give you 100 euros now, right, today, or tomorrow I told you, okay, there was a 50% chance I will give you 100 euro. I'll give you 200 euros tomorrow. Which one will you pick?
100 euros today,
or 50% chance I'll give you 200 euros tomorrow. What will you pick? Which one will you choose?
So 100% chance of getting 100 euros today. 50% chance of getting 200 euros tomorrow. I'll pick the 200.
Because you see, most people are not like you.
Right,
That's the thing.
200.
Most people would see that, you know what, I could lose the 100 today, and I could potentially lose the 200 tomorrow.
Right.
So I'll probably just get the 100 euros today.
Right.
And that's how most humans are, and that's how I think I'm probably wired as well. That I don't want to take the risk in that direction. So I'll probably just like get the 100 euros today, and I mean, granted, obviously it depends for every scenario, right? Right. But I feel like that's just how I'm wired. It's just weigh losses as much more heavier than a potential gain, for instance. Maybe that's a reason why, I don't know, I've always been one foot in, 1 foot out.
Right.
Whereas like the thing about losing is just, man, it's so high that I don't want to lose.
I was thinking about that, right? And that's part of the reasons why I want to have this podcast, like have these conversations, because I feel like just us Africans navigating life in Africa and in different parts of the world, it's just such a different way of seeing things, such a different way of perceiving things because of the upbringing, the mindset, the culture. It really is a whole different ballgame. Which sometimes I feel like it's not highlighted enough in, like, you know, Western way of thinking or theories, where you have these, and I'm like, okay, I get what you're saying, I get where you're coming from, but it's like, how does that actually affect us sometimes subconsciously without us knowing that it's affecting us, right? Where like
100%.
The upbringing you had and like this risk aversion mindset and stuff like that, right? Like, how is that potentially blocking us or serving us without us being aware of it, right? Because in my head, I'm like, I can see how this, you just the whole loss aversion, I can see how that could potentially be compromising you in like just taking that step and like, you know what?
Just going for it, right?
Just going for it, right?
Exactly.
But I'm like, okay, true. Sometimes people have different circumstances, different situations where they have to do what they have to do, right? Like if people are actually depending on you, family and stuff like that, you have to do what you have to do.
You have to do what you have to do.
But like, do what you have to do, knowing fully well that, okay, these are the sacrifices I'm making to do what I have to do.
Exactly. 100%.
Don't be out here doing what you have to do, compromising yourself without knowing that you're compromising yourself in the process. You know what I mean?
100%.
And I feel like that's what I'm trying to understand. Just like have more conversations and like get different perspectives. I don't know what is right. Like
exactly.
Like
no one knows. No one.
We don't know what is right. We're
just trying stuff, bro.
Figure it out, right?
Exactly.
Like
100%.
That's what 100%. I'm trying to
100%.
get from this as well, which is very interesting. And I think literally I just came up from playing padel. I was in the shower and like the thought just came to my head like, shoot, overthinking. In my own context, the theme of the podcast. Like in my own context. No, I think about it for me. I was like, overthinking. I should make a video talking about like overthinking and how my mindset has changed with regards to the power of overthinking. Like I see my overthinking now as one of my superpowers. Like I can process stuff, especially when it comes to people. Like you're talking to me and I'm processing things. I'm like, what non-verbal, like my emotional
That's the level I'm
intelligence,
trying to get to.
Like has been very like heightened, where I pride myself in this. If you look me in the face and you tell me, man, you're thinking like it's not that deep, you're overthinking it, I literally am like, you do you, I'm doing me. Like I have no problem with people telling me now that you're over checking sense. I'm like, it's fine.
It's fine.
I'd rather be on that end of the spectrum than on the other end of
where you're not doing anything, right?
Right, exactly. Or you
100%.
just things are just happening to you and you're just passively living. Like I'd rather be on that end. So when that thought came to my head, I was like, I literally hopped out of the shower, put it in my notes, went back into the shower. I was like, Akin is coming. Who else do you know who is like one of those kind of overthinkers? Akin. It would be so cool to have a conversation, but I knew if I told you what the topic was going to be,
I was going to overthink. Hey, if you told me about a topic, I would have
You would have prepared your answers. You would have checked it here and there. So I was like, you know what? You know what? Maybe I'll not.
Maybe you shouldn't tell me.
I know you told me I was overthinking the setup. I was like, overthinking.
You know what? Maybe the title should be the Overthinkers. I don't know. The Overthinkers podcast.
No, but that's an interesting perspective, and I'm really curious to just hear different people's perspectives, like
life,
stories, experiences. Like, do you relate with some of the things that have been talked about? Do you feel like you're in a position where you don't want to be, but then it's just the way you think or the way you've been brought up kind of like keeps you in that position? Or do you feel like you are aware of how you got to be where you are now, and you're also taking conscious steps to get closer to where you want to get to? 100%. Just like, please share in the comment section. Let us know what your thoughts are. Just let's engage with each other so other people can also learn from these things. So I feel like
100%.
the goal of this is really just to empower ourselves. Wherever we find ourselves in the world, just be in control of your actions and be in control of taking the steps proactively, intentionally towards getting you to the future that you want to create. And don't let life just happen to you, because that's a lot of things. That's something I see a lot of the time. People just, especially when you come to Europe and you're trying to figure stuff out, and like, it's a new environment and people are telling you do this one to guarantee this and do this one to guarantee your stability. It can get really confusing. And I feel like we just need to get on the steering wheel, like just take control of things. You cannot control everything, because we cannot control every aspect of life, but the bit we can control, let's do our best to control that. And whether you leave the rest to God, leave the rest to the universe, that's fine. But at least the part you can control, just get knowledge, get wisdom, get understanding, and do your best to control that.
100.
That was it for this episode.
Let's
But
go.
thank you for coming.
My man wanted monologue out there on the last one.
That's crazy. That's crazy.
Yes, sir.
But this has been the first episode, guys. Please like, share, subscribe, all that good stuff. Push the word, push the podcast to people who need to know about it.
Yes, sir.
I'm really excited for what this could become. I'm really excited to just have more conversations with people, sharing stories, giving them platforms to share their stories. And hopefully we can all learn a thing or two that is going to enable us in our own lives to just make the most of this one life that we have on earth. So hope you enjoyed this episode. Hit that subscribe button so you don't miss out on the coming episodes. And until next time, where can they actually find you?
Oh shit, you can find me on Instagram at Akinzo, TikTok Akinzo, YouTube Akinzo, same thing.
Right. He actually makes dope videos. We didn't even get into that. He actually makes dope videos. You'll probably be back for another episode. But yeah, thank you for coming. And thank you for listening.
having me in the first one, yeah?
Crazy, no? The first
Yes,
one.
sir.
That's crazy.
We outside. Overthinkers podcast, right?
Guys.